welcome in everybody, wherever you are and however you are listening. It is draft day. I am here with my man, Philly Sports Guy, and we're going to watch him get painted up as we go. What's the vibe like in Detroit?
Well, you know what? People started to show up yesterday. A lot of the super fans started to come in. We met up with two separate groups of super fans. Like, it seemed like everywhere I went, they came. So it was freaking amazing. It's just probably, 200-300 different super fans all showing up into one spot. Half of them painted up like they didn't even recognize me, half of them, because they're like, where are you at? Like, what's going on? I was wearing a hoodie because it's freaking cold.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what you were saying was
it's been good so far, and it's only going to get better from here. The draft actually starts right now. Say that again?
You got some. You're kind of breaking up over there.
Is it me that's frozen, or is it you?
It's you. Normally it's me, but today.
There we go. Are you frozen?
Nope. I'm good. You're pretty blocky though. Yep.
I tell you, Comcast sucks up in Seattle. They suck up in Seattle. It's got to be you. It can't be me. I got full bars. All right. Well, I'm going to just keep on talking. You guys are going to get to watch me get painted up. Are you? All right. There we go. Are you frozen? Is it me that's frozen, or is it you?
I don't know. You looked frozen on my side, so tough to say. Could have been either way. All I know is no matter where you are in the country, Comcast is terrible.
That's exactly what I just said. I'm like, Comcast sucks in Seattle and maybe here in Detroit too.
Okay, yeah. So it looked like it was you. So, but
all right, good enough. That's fine. Because I have tons of people using my Wi-Fi where it's just you using yours.
So this is even better. It's both of you guys. So apparently it's just nationwide. It blows. Oh man.
So as you guys see here, I have to outline first kind of what I get. And it looks like ass until it actually is completely done. So don't judge me.
And yes, Rob, we're getting a makeup tutorial. He's going to do this is extreme contouring right here.
Well, and I tell you, Rob, it doesn't matter how much makeup I'm going to put on. I still don't know how to put on your lipstick and stuff like that. That's like when you dress up like that and putting on that brassiere and stuff, I can't help you with that.
So Brad, yeah, today is the first day of the draft. So, but the question is for you, Pags. Who do you think the Eagles pick in the first round?
Well, there's been a lot of different speculations going on recently about what the Eagles are going to do. Are they going to trade up to 16 with Seattle? That's actually been a lot of different things that are going on there. That if one of the linemen drop, they would trade up for that.
Yeah.
A possible cornerback that they're interested in, maybe going up a spot or two. I'll be honest, I don't believe any of it. I think we're standing pat and taking who we got. Whoever. My man watching on TV, he gets to see the full. And this will look best on Roku because I look great on the big screen.
On the big screen. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy night over here too because we're going to go to the Queen Anne Beer Hall like we said the other day, and so from the event, I'm going to be bouncing into a bunch of shows during the draft, so it should be kind of fun to kind of highlight. I would imagine a pretty crazy crowd. I would imagine also that inside is going to be extraordinarily packed now because it's a Seattle rainy day. And so there's not going to be a lot of the outdoor activity that they were originally going to be doing. They were going to have a 40-yard dash and stuff there. I can't imagine that's going to get a lot of play since it's actively raining.
Well,
And it's
hey, listen, at least it's raining over there and not here. Because trust me, I've done a draft in the rain and it is not fun.
Yeah. No, I could see that.
Especially because I get messy. You know, I melt in the rain. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun day today. I've already met a bunch of my super fan friends. We got a few Eagles fans here already. There was a bunch that came out from the West Coast. Shout out to Sandy and Sean and to the West Coast guys. The People's Champ and Birdman and stuff like that. Those guys are all out here supporting. And they even brought the belt. They brought like a Brazilian flag. These guys are representing hardcore.
Hell yeah.
So it's going to be fun. Detroit is ready. It's interesting setup here. If anybody's ever been to Detroit, it's very congested downtown. So it was a little bit of an interesting setup that the NFL had to do to get this like up and everywhere. So there's like 4 different locations for where the draft is going to be really held at. Anybody who watched my videos when I first got here, first thing I did was, go after driving 9 hours. I went and grab a cocktail real fast and across the street from Mom's Spaghetti. Yes, the same Mom's Spaghetti that you hear about in Eminem's song. That's what it was. And that Mom's Spaghetti happened to be next to the Fox Theater or next to the Fillmore. And that's where Cypress Hill was playing.
Yeah.
So I got to go to a Cypress Hill concert like 10 minutes after being here.
Yeah, well, and that's actually what Chris just dropped in there. How was the Cypress Hill concert? That would have been a cool concert to go see.
Well, you know what? They were just in Atlantic City for 420, and I missed that show. And I'll be honest, I've never seen Cypress Hill before, so this was my first time.
Oh, nice.
And as any true Seattle fan probably knows, they have a lot of songs that deal with smoking weed and marijuana and things like that. So
that is for sure. And of course, Rob jumping in with, "Did you go insane in the membrane?" I don't think he had to go there. He's been there.
Exactly. Sometimes the silver paint seeps through.
That's right. Happy draft day. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very fun day today. It was interesting. I'm going to start off with this. So one of the biggest fans for the Chicago Bears is Bearman, the guy who looks like a bear, paints his face and everything. I was talking to him and I was asking him about Caleb Williams.
Okay.
And I was pretty unfettered with how I responded. I was like, listen, here's my thought. If there's a reason why they don't pay me to be a GM of an NFL team. So take this with a grain of salt. I said I would have kept Fields. I would have traded back a little bit. I would have picked up 2 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And when you're trading back, somebody is going to give you 2 first-round picks for that first pick. So, like, you'd get 3 all day, is what I'm saying. Like, you would wind up probably getting, a pick later in that draft, in the first round.
Sure. Next
Year's first rounder, and the year after that, first rounder.
Yeah.
I said, I personally do not believe Caleb Williams is going to be a stud. But there's a reason why they don't have me as an NFL scout.
Yep.
So I don't want to
there's
hurt anybody's feelings.
There's a lot of things that lead towards thinking he isn't going to be great. And it isn't all on the field play. Like there's some mental fortitude things that you've seen, especially over this last year and this off season, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
Exactly.
So where did Bearman say then?
So he says that everybody in Chicago is super excited for Caleb,
Sure.
that day. And I said, well, but your expectation has to be very tempered here. Obviously, you can't expect that he's going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Sure.
You actually had a pretty decent quarterback who got better over a small amount of time. Now you have to start this timeline again. Now his timeline may be much faster. And there's a lot of pundits saying that he is such of a can't miss. And you know what I feel like when everybody says one thing?
It's the other
exact
way.
Opposite occurs.
Exactly. That's why I'm always mad when you're watching and everybody on a broadcast takes your team. You're like, well, we're losing today. Damn.
Exactly. That's exactly correct. But the other thing I had to talk to him about was, hey, in the land of make-believe in Chicago, they showed what that new stadium would look like.
Yeah.
And wow. Like
Okay.
that was a wow. That was definitely a wow moment there. I hope, because it's going to cost $2 billion plus. You know, they say it's going to cost $2 billion. The one out in Los Angeles cost $2 billion. Things have only gone up. So I got to imagine it's going to be closer to $3 billion. And I know that they're fighting this because the hotel tax and stuff like that, and that there's another spot that they think that would be a better suited area other than keeping it in the congestion of downtown Chicago.
Yeah, I thought they were moving it.
Yeah,
moving it out of town.
It sounds to me like it's still up in the air, because that's why I started off this whole thing with this is the land of make-believe here a little bit in Chicago, because ultimately nothing. I mean, they just showed the picture to try to get people excited.
Yeah.
You know, in essence, they're hoping that this is the house that Caleb builds.
Oh, yeah. Well, so
this is where this all comes into play now. That was the reason why I wanted to start off specifically with Chicago here.
No, that makes sense. And of course, you know, Steven jumps in here. Ryan Leaf was a can't miss too. And that's actually a similar can't miss if Caleb crashes and burns, because I think it'll be between the years, not necessarily quarterback play that is the problem.
Right. It's, you know, and the things that he's done a little bit during this since you know, college football has been ended, and I'm going to go to the combine, but I ain't going to play at the combine, and
I want to be part of the ownership group. I'm not going to sign a rookie deal. I want more money. Like, these are all things that even players within the same building, it sounds like, are tired of, and they haven't even gotten together yet. Like, they haven't even seen each other. So this, I don't know. This has a real potential to spectacularly fail. And of course, you know, for shows like this, you know, we'll bring our popcorn and we're ready for it, because
absolutely. Because where else could you get somebody painting their face and us talking about real draft possibilities and problems?
That's right.
You know, it just doesn't get any better than this, does it?
No, exactly. And yeah, Jamarcus Russell, great example. Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a little bit different because he just couldn't stay healthy. Like, we don't even really know if he can play football, because he'd be on the field for 5 seconds and then done for the year. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a Trey Lance type of situation. I don't know if he's going to get hurt quite that fast. But
how about the guy from Washington? Who was the guy from Washington? Unfortunately, he's passed now because of a fatal car accident.
I guess I'm not sure who you're talking
about. Yeah, somebody will come up with that. Somebody knows who I'm talking about. He was also a top pick that didn't pan out very well.
I got you.
Sorry, I have to turn my back to you guys right now as I get.
Oh no, you're good. Here we go. Rob jumping in with shocker call of the day. Pats trade up with the Bears for Caleb. They'd have to give up so much to make that happen. I don't foresee that being a thing. Pittsburgh Steelers grab a quarterback. I mean, everything kind of leans towards they are doing something to that effect, because they have Russell Wilson for a year, and they aren't picking up Justin Fields' extension. So,
well, and I tell you, that's another. So, talking to Pittsburgh fans, you know, I love Pittsburgh fans. Pittsburgh fans, they are always the optimist and will figure out exactly what storyline is the perfect storyline to suit their needs. And I tell you, they talked about, I'm like, so how do you feel about Justin Fields? I'm like, you guys finally got a quarterback over there. And they're like, we got two. And I'm like, yeah, you can't feel about that about Russ. And they're like, well, this with Russ. And if you look at his things, he had these numbers and Denver didn't want to make the playoffs. And I'm like, what? What? No, 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 no. And it just so happened that I had some Seahawks fans right next to me when I'm having this conversation. I'm like, hold on. Hey, let's ask these guys how they feel about Russ. Which is perfect because it was a great segue.
Dwayne Haskins was I forgot he passed away.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, I knew somebody would come up with that. Who was it? Chris that put that out there, or Rob?
Rob. Yep.
That's why we've got some of the smartest people on watching our show.
Absolutely. No.
That or the most brain dead, one or the other.
I mean, two things can be true. Yeah, no, I always appreciate it because we'll be in the middle of talking and then have that mind blank. So I'm glad that they have they have the ability to pick us up. I'm a huge fan of that.
Exactly. Hey, without our watching producers, we would fail miserably.
Oh, so bad.
Now we only fail slightly.
Most of the time, I think. Chiming in with brain dead. Yep. Probably a little of both. Absolutely. So the NCAA actually did something good. We finally get to talk about them in a way that doesn't suck, which is weird. And they give Reggie Bush his Heisman back.
So, and it's funny that because I talked about this a little bit yesterday after we had a little bit of a bout about the Sixers. And I was surprised that there are certain people that feel that this was a bad move by the NCAA. And I find that interesting to me. Like, here it is, the NCAA is trying to do something to get fans back on their side.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is it's like when people get busted for, or like the people that are here in Washington that are still in jail for drug charges for weed, right? It's legal now. And what they had on them would have been legal today, but it wasn't legal at the time. So they're still in jail. So that's kind of the mindset that they're carrying is, well, it wasn't okay at the time. So it's never okay because of the era. Right. But I'm with you. Like in this case, it was just because he got caught. Everybody was doing it. Not that makes it okay, but because it's part of the program now, and one of the most dynamic Heisman winners ever. I mean, I like the move to give it back to him. And it's not like they had to go and rob it from him. He willingly gave it up. So I like that they gave it back.
Well, and I hear that. I can go with that thought process. Obviously I'm not a guy who watches a lot of college, so I have to rely on everybody else saying what their thoughts were about him. And ultimately, I was suspecting, like, okay, everybody loves this guy. Why not allow him to, just get it back? What's it hurting at this point?
Yeah, because it's not like he was taken out of the history books, right?
Right.
He just didn't physically have the trophy anymore.
Well, and actually, he was removed from the history books.
Oh, did they vacate his spot? I couldn't remember.
They vacated the spot. So, I mean, so there is some of this.
Okay.
But did USC wind up having to lose games or have to give back games because of that?
I don't believe so. Because as I recall, it was from his agent, not the school. Now, this was a while ago. So, I've had a couple of beers, so maybe the memory is a little cloudy, but over that span of time. But yeah, no, as I recall, the money that he received was actually from his agent, and so where the agent got the money, that I don't know. But
do you think this starts a bad precedence?
No, not really, because we're watching the death of the NCAA anyway. Oh, you muted.
Yeah, as I'm doing this, so because I have to dry this off before I put the shoulder pads on, or else it will just smear.
No, that makes total sense. That makes total sense.
So I understand that exactly what you're saying with that thought process. However, so they gave this one back. Are they going to have to, when they see the backlash that comes from this, and I don't know if it's like a backlash, or when the dust settles and they find out that it worked for them, do they start doing this a little bit more? Do they start to give back some of the wins maybe to Joe Paterno because they say, maybe he didn't know?
No, I think it's because Reggie Bush is still around. There was a lot of Heisman winners lobbying for him to get it actively, like on TV, stuff like that. Nobody's trying to advocate for Paterno at this point. That's sort of a.
But you understand, I only use that because that's the main thing the first thing that I thought of off the top of my head.
No,
Florida State. Was it Florida State's coach that was one of the most winningest ones, and then he lost a bunch of games for a couple of different reasons that were really questionable and sketch? They vacated those wins in essence.
I don't see them doing any of that. I think this is one where there was just enough pressure on this particular situation to change something. I don't know that any of the rest of those are going to garner enough traction for them to really take action on it. But yeah, I don't think it really sets a weird precedent. I think they just had so many people leaning on them for this particular thing. I don't know that the rest of them would have enough following for it. So we got a question from Rob here. What do you think of Amon St. Brown's new contract? Yeah, so it was 120 mil, 77 of it's guaranteed. I mean, it's dynamic. Like I can't hate.
I'm going to let you respond first. I got to go get my shoulder pads on. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really hate the move. They're going to have to lock some of these guys up, or else the team is, they'll have to let them go. So I don't hate the move. This is a team that is solidly within their window to win a ring. So, I mean, they really do got to try and keep some of these pieces in place. And, so we'll see. But ultimately, he's going to get paid somewhere. And because the Lions are in their window, it's not a terrible signing.
So in my case, give him the money. He helped me win my first ever fantasy football championship, and it was directly related to him specifically. So absolutely worth every penny. I'm going to be hard pressed not to get him again. In this year's fantasy draft, like almost he might be my first pick in the draft if I have like the 8th or 9th pick. You know what I'm saying? So because he was that dynamic. This year. And really, they would not have gotten this far. I mean, he was open all the time. You know what I mean? And there's only a few receivers that you could say get open all the time. And, he was one.
Yeah.
So, and when you talk to Detroit people, as there's a lot of them around in Detroit, go figure, they're like, there's only one left that we have to re-sign, Jared Goff. That they got their 2 now, and that the third one is now Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So.
And I think he's played well enough that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, you have gone further with Jared Goff than you ever made it with Stafford. And you can blame you could blame the GM on Stafford, Stafford on the GM, like whatever, that he didn't have ever the right amount of weapons or do the right things or whatever. But either way, you still had not gotten here to where you got this year.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff, since he's gotten here, I know he didn't make the playoffs his first year, but that offense has been prolific.
Yeah.
So how do you say no to that? How do you say no to him?
Well, and they missed it by
1 point to Seattle in the first year.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's not like they haven't been right there even in the 1 year they didn't go. So, yeah, I mean, you got to like what Jared Goff has been able to do. You've watched him elevate his game while he's been there. He's got a team that rallies around him. So, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't pay him at this point.
I agree wholeheartedly. And think about that. Think about now, go backwards a little bit in time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a question mark on who should be the number one pick. Is it Jared Goff or is it Carson Wentz? And everybody thought initially that Carson Wentz wound up being the better pick.
I mean,
when you look back at it now.
Well, that's the thing is you look at it retrospectively, and obviously Goff was the guy. When you look at it as the prototypical, like, physical stats that you want, yeah, you would think that Carson Wentz should have been that guy.
Yes.
I mean, obviously not, but and it's not like he was on a bad team. So it's not like it was, oh, he got picked and he didn't have anybody around him. Like he landed on a good team.
He did. And went to a Super Bowl, actually. Exactly. I mean, Jared Goff, interestingly enough, they both went to Super Bowls. Obviously, Wentz never gets any credit for that drive because he didn't win the Super Bowl. It's like saying, who did Doug Williams replace to go to the Super Bowl that year?
No idea.
You remember?
I don't.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Doug Williams was the one that won the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But because I'm from Philly, I know that Carson Wentz got us to an 11-1 record. And then
everybody remembers that only because he was in the MVP conversation until he got hurt. So it's not like he was playing like trash. Like he was having an amazing year up to that point. And then, fast forward.
You could almost make it arguably that he still won the MVP. There's an argument to be made there.
No, I mean,
obviously Tom Brady won it, but
realistically, he almost could have had. I mean, obviously, if he stays healthy, he definitely does. But I mean, statistically, he almost could have anyway. But then you go on, and Nick Foles comes in and has a crazy postseason.
The best 10 quarters a quarterback has ever had in the NFL.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, and it overshadows what Wentz did all year. Now, obviously, he wins the Super Bowl. He gets a statue. I mean, if you're Wentz, that's got to burn you up a little bit.
And listen, I am not afraid to talk about Wentz a little bit. You know what I mean? Obviously, sure. He started to get way too much in his head. But the problem was when he came back, he tried to win the Super Bowl with every pass.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. And then he winds up playing with a broken back, winds up getting replaced again. And then we go on a run. And had Alshon Jeffrey caught the ball in New Orleans, it's likely we would have been back in the Super Bowl because for some reason or another, the Rams could not beat the Eagles at all.
Yeah.
In fact, they still can't. For some reason or another, he's got the Rams just can't seem to beat the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that Goff was horrible with the Rams. They did still go to a Super Bowl.
Right. But you think about that. Would they have gone to that Super Bowl if Alshon Jeffrey misses the ball, if doesn't miss that ball? I'll even go even further because I was at that game. Had they called timeout instead of pushing one more play before the 2-minute warning? Had they just let the 2-minute warning go, there's a good chance that we wouldn't have lost that game either. Because they were driving great, and I'm like, just let the clock run. It's 2:08. They race to the line. They wind up throwing an interception on that play. Alshon Jeffrey misses the ball on that play. And then it's 2:01 when the guy gets tackled. There's one play before the 2-minute warning. We wound up getting the ball back with like 13 seconds left, but at that point it was too late.
Yeah. All right. Jay Schroeder is who Williams replaced.
There you go. Jay Schroeder. Jay Schroeder. And listen, Jay Schroeder got him all the way there. Yeah. So, but nobody remembers him. I don't remember him.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm using the camera because it always looks green when I do it, but the camera doesn't lie. So the camera actually tells me that I need to put more makeup on. It's funny because people laugh at me when I do this, and this is one of the bigger days for me. I am not going to guarantee that I get on TV, but there's a really good chance. You know what I mean? The camera guys of the NFL love me.
Sure.
And and I'm not talking like that, pat myself on the back, because I really don't care. It's like me getting on TV is nothing to me. I don't pander to a camera. I don't need to. I love doing this. I love having other super fans around me, because when they come around me and the camera comes around me, I do my thing, and then I slip out and I let the camera kind of give them a little bit of time, because the camera's always going to find me, because, let's face it, I'm a handsome guy. But
well, and you're painted up, so they're always going to find the super fans out there anyway.
Well, yeah, but that's what's in the inner circle. Yeah. The super fans, they're all painted up, or most of them, like 90% are painted up. The other ones that are not painted up are like the fans of the year that have won an award from their respective teams. So, and Al Capitan, I ain't talking to you today because you're a Raiders fan today. I'm only busting chops there, Ralph. There is, and the Raiders Nation came out in droves last night. In droves, there was tons of people that were out last night from Raiders Nation.
Hell yeah!
And they always like to start. They think that they're the loudest. No. Again, I proved it last night why I am the loudest fan in the NFL, and I wasn't even warmed up.
Draft should host a superfan obstacle course.
That would be amazing,
right? that would be hilarious.
How do you think I got this jersey? I won an obstacle course.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll tell you the story. Let's go back to 2002. The Eagles are having a carnival.
Okay.
To raise money for a charity. I think it was just Eagles Charities or whatever. And they are giving away 2 game-worn jerseys. One for anybody under 18 who has the fastest time. One for somebody over 18 with the fastest time. The time I'm like 22 years old. Maybe in some of the prime shape of my life. Something like that, or close to it. Maybe I was a little older. 20. No, I was actually way off on that. I was 30. So
math is hard.
As I think about that, I'm like, hold on a sec. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That math is wrong. I was 30 years old.
Yeah, it's that Common Core stuff. You're fine.
Yeah. And I was actually on a first date with that girl. That girl has done really well for herself. She's like a dean over at Princeton. So
wow.
Yeah, she wound up going to Princeton. I paint my face for a living. You know how that works out. Anyways, so the obstacle course is literally
get her life back on track. She dated you. And said, oh yeah, no, I should probably do something.
So I you have to start the obstacle course. You have to get a pair of shoulder pads. You have to get a jersey. You have to get a helmet, and you have to run around some cones. And the fastest time past the finish line wins the jersey.
Nice.
And it's $20 to do it. Everybody gets a chance to do it. And this is on the turf at the vet.
Sweet.
I start my race. I'm racing against somebody, and I got the shoulder pads on. I got the jersey on. I got the helmet on. I'm running around the cones, but the turf sucks at the vet. Okay. And I trip. And I literally fly across the finish line.
I mean, if you were going to trip, that's the good spot for it.
Hey, listen, as I'm flying past the finish line, right past the finish line, maybe about 5 yards past, they have players signing autographs. So they're sitting at a table, and the line is going the opposite direction from there, so that they're not running. They don't have a whole line of people trying to get in to, that's encroaching into this obstacle course. I fly, knock over the chair that the one player is sitting in, knock him down, sprawl over, chair's broken, everything's going nuts. Everybody comes running to me, to us, because now something ridiculous just occurred.
Sure.
And I wind up he helps me up, the guy helps me up, picks me up, takes my helmet off, because at this point it was on sideways because it had turned sideways. It was rookie Brian Westbrook.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So the story of me getting this jersey was I had the first tackle of Brian Westbrook at the vet, to win this jersey. That's awesome. And this jersey was Tim Hasselbeck's jersey. Okay. They asked me what name I wanted on the back, and I went with the only person I know of that will never get traded from the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Me.
That's awesome.
And that's why I've worn this jersey every home game, every game, actually. However, I'm not going to be able to wear it in Brazil.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because they don't want green, right?
They are. So the home team will not wear green. They're very, very particular about that.
Yeah.
The reason why Green Bay, so Green Bay is probably going to wear their home greens, and we're probably going to wear white because they won't do their blackout game there.
Oh, sure.
So, and I'd be willing to bet, hey, if I was the guy who got to make the schedule for the jerseys, I'd wear our blackout game against the Steelers. I think that would be a perfect blackout game for that. Us wear black against them.
That would be kind of cool.
So, but yeah, so ultimately, that'll be the first time that I don't wear this jersey to a game in maybe since I got this jersey.
Wow.
I mean, you go back into the annals of my Facebook and you look at jerseys that I would wear and different makeup. Like when you get to see the evolution of the Philly Sports Guy, there's lots of different designs that I went with, trying to figure out what am I going to do? Trying to make an eagle on my face.
That's got to be.
I actually did the eagle look. I did the eagle look in Seattle, actually, the first time I tried the eagle. And I'll never forget the girl who sat in front of me, who was a Seattle fan, said exactly this, and I'll never forget this for as long as I live. She's like, I may have had 18 beers and 72 shots, but you look like an effing eagle. And I was like, well, I guess that's exactly what I was going for. So, we lost that game too, by the way.
Way to really tie one on for her, though.
Yeah, like when she said, I have 18 beers and 72 shots, but you look like an effing eagle. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if she made it through the entire game, by the way.
I would imagine not. I mean, that sounds like you're getting one of those expensive Ubers with the lights on the roof.
Well, that's if they didn't have Ubers back then.
No, I know, but they usually have an aid person driving it.
Yeah, one that usually gives you a nice set of bracelets to go with that, and
Exactly.
yeah, I don't think that she was the one driving at all, so she made it okay. You know what I mean? It's been some time since I've thought about that, but yes, and I do the makeup. I do touch up, with makeup on the hairspray because, listen, I'm going to be on TV today. I need to look perfect. The one thing that I'll tell you about camera people, if anybody ever decides that they want to get painted up and be a super fan, one of the reasons why that they also find me, at least I think so, is that I am very diligent. Like, I don't miss a spot. As I'm looking on the camera, I'm like, if I see something that might be colored, but like looks like a haze spot because it's not covered enough, I'm going to paint over it. I'm very diligent with how I do my stuff. Because if you're a camera guy and you see the smallest of flaws, you will focus on the flaw.
Sure.
And it actually makes for a great picture. I don't want that picture, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the first pictures, the first draft I ever went to was in Nashville. And there was a spot on my ear, the back of my ear, that wasn't covered. Mm. He focused on that spot. And it really is an amazing picture because it shows me, and I'm looking, and the pick is in for the Eagles.
Okay.
So it shows me, and you see the big sign saying the pick is in. But all I notice is the little spot that he focused on, that says, hey, you missed the spot, dummy.
Yep. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And unfortunately, for all those people that don't know me that well, Rachel Bonanetta is not here this week. So she's no longer with the NFL Network, which is a shame because, we had a date to go on after me working her out. For those of you who don't know, the rumor is that I shot my shot in, a draft in Vegas. And that made national news. It did make national news.
Rob says you need green contacts.
It's funny that you say that. I've tried to do the contact thing. The problem with doing the contacts is, one, I don't wear contacts. So it's hard for me to put them in. I also don't have the right care. Like I'd have to invest so much money, and those contacts are really expensive. And if you don't take care of them the right way, they shrivel up and poof, gone.
So you can actually get colored ones pretty cheap.
Yeah, but I get eagle eyes. I would get eagle eyes.
Oh, the actual Eagles logo.
Either the Eagles logo or actually try to get what an Eagle's eye would look like in
So that's actually my point is you can get those because I got a bunch of different colors for Halloween because I go hard for Halloween, right? And so I got a bunch of different ones for Halloween, and oddly enough, if you try and buy them in a normal capacity, you're right, they're expensive for whatever reason. But if you order them from an anime fan site, they're really cheap. You can get them for $5-10.
Well, and then I'd have to have somebody teach me how to put them in.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where it's tough, right? Is I'm good with contacts in for a few hours, and then they start to annoy me. And that was true even when I wore glasses, you know, as a kid. Exactly, Rob. They're cheap for cosplay. But yeah, so it's in junior high and high school, I wore glasses, and then as I've gotten older, my eyes have gotten better just for whatever reason. And but for whether they were prescription, expensive, or the cheap ones for cosplay stuff, it doesn't matter. After about 3 hours, my eyes are kind of over it. So
right.
And if you're painted up, then it's a problem, right? Because you're like, okay, am I going to mess up what I've done trying to get him in and out? Or, you know, if they start to bother me, is my eyes going to start to water and mess everything up? Like I did a few Halloweens ago, I went as a vampire, right? And so I got real pale, right? So a lot of white paint on my face. And then I did kind of the red and black veins from the eyes.
Right.
And then I had red contacts, obviously. By the end of the night, you know, the whole time I'm like, man, am I going to mess up? Because that's a lot of like fine line work around your eye. So it's not like you can rub them or try and get them in and out, or like if one of them were to pop out, that one's out for the night.
Right. No, I get that. And I tell you, that's part of the reason why I always spend a lot of money on makeup.
Sure.
So people ask me, how much money am I spending on makeup a year? And it's always around $600 to $750 a year.
Sure.
Because there's two things I want from my makeup. One, when I put it on, it stays on. I might be able to sweat a little bit. It's breathable. It's able to do the things that I want it to do and still look great after 12 hours of wearing it.
Well, and you don't want it to smudge off on your jersey and stuff. I mean, it's
and I get a little bit of rub off on the jersey because It's just rubbing all the time. It's going to get a little bit. Yep. But ultimately, when I get in the shower and I want it to come off, it comes off. And that's the big deal. That's the problem with rain with me. You know, like, so when it rains, the silver is a much more different makeup than the green is, or the black that I'm using right now. So it stays on a little bit more. If by chance, you know, it's raining and the silver gets into my eyes, it'll look like I have silver eyeliner on for about 3 days.
Oh, I could see that.
Because I can't get it off well enough, because there's no chance of me getting like a bar of soap and scrubbing in there or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I wind up looking like, you know, Ziggy Stardust for a few days. There's an old reference for all those guys out there. Robert, you probably get that one. I think that you probably are like a David Bowie fan.
Got to partner up with Chiefsaholic, rob some banks.
If he's available and he's going to just make the cut with me, you know what I mean? I'll just make sure that I am driving the car after he rides the bike, and I can act like I had no idea I'm just picking up a hitchhiker.
That's right. Frankie, I feel like you sleep with that makeup on.
You know, so Roger Goodell asked that exact question. You know, like, and I love Roger. I always have a very unique interaction with Roger every time I see him. And he asked me one time, like, you know, one draft, I think it was the Vegas draft. I'm like, hey, Roger, great job today. You know what I mean? Awesome work. You know, I love what you do. And he says to me, do you sleep with that shit on your face? Like, that's exactly the way he asked it. Do you sleep with that shit on your face? Yep. And I said, no, Roger, it messes up the pillowcases. He laughed for like a minute. He's like,
I was going to say,
I could see it doing that.
I could see him getting a good pop out of that for sure.
You know, just like, I think it was at the Nashville when I got to take a picture with him at Nashville draft. I got to take a picture with him, and I'm like, hey, Raj, I need to borrow. Actually, it wasn't that. It also was Vegas. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, Raj, I'm going up to take a picture. I'm like, hey, man, I need to borrow the company jet for a minute. He's like, what? Yeah, the company jet. I got to go somewhere real fast. I'll be right back with it. Let me borrow it. He laughs because obviously nobody thinks about that question. You get 1 minute with Roger Goodell. I'm going to use it to my advantage as best as possible.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that he's going to remember.
Exactly.
Something he's going to remember because everybody is thought, oh, Roger, I love you. You're great, blah, blah, blah. You know, all this other crap. You know what I mean? I'm going to do something that makes me stand out so that when the NFL is looking for somebody to, be the sponsor of their brand, he goes, that idiot with the jet question.
Right.
Let's not choose him.
Pretty much. So this one I can actually kind of get behind from Frankie. Surprised I still haven't let you announce a pick at the draft.
That would be cool. I've thought about that a few times. Interestingly enough, the Eagles do not do, when it comes to picking later in the draft, because I don't think they would ever let me do a first pick unless I won the fan of the year. And I'll be honest, I've had people come up and ask me, hey, man, you should be fan of the year or whatever. I am not ready to be the fan of the year yet. Because when you go up for fan of the year, you're going up against all of the other teams as well. And I'll be honest, I feel that I'm not worthy of it yet. Is it possible later on? Yeah. But ultimately, I haven't done enough. There's so many people that do so much more than I do. And with charity and things like that. And I haven't, I'm fairly, although I've been painting up for a long time, I've only been in this community, this super fan community, for about 6-7 years. Yeah. So there's still more that I have to do before I get looked at in that light.
Sure. So
if that being the case, it's going to be, I feel, a couple of years before I even have that opportunity. Would it be an awesome experience? Would it be something that, I would remember for all of my life? That video would be the video that you see every time you go to my Facebook page. That'll pop up right away and be like, and they've had me on the stage at the draft. I have that picture. That is such an amazing picture because they got me. It was might have been the Vegas draft again. A lot of stuff happened in Vegas, but and who says what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
For a guy that didn't like it in Vegas, it seemed like Vegas was good, though.
No, it was in Cleveland. There we go. I remember. And they picked 2 fans as the best dressed fans. And I got to get up on stage as the winner of the best dressed fans. And I won a little mini helmet for, a Chicago tight end. I didn't even know who he was. It was like, it was cool. I actually sold it for charity. It's like, this is what I'm going to do with this because it's not, not that I don't want to save that type of stuff. It's just, I'm not a tchotchke guy. You know what I mean? I'm going to repurpose that and use that for good. But they got a great picture. I'm sitting there on stage at the draft, and they have a picture of me. And in the background, you see me, they're showing on TV. And it is such an awesome picture. I it's one of those ones that I treasure all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, that's going to be one of the ones that go up on the wall. And the NFL, maybe the NFL specifically, or one of the NFL blue chip memes, things, used it one year as like getting ready for the NFL season, and you saw me going.
That's awesome.
But yeah, if you ever have the opportunity, for anybody who's watching, if there's anybody watching, if you ever get an opportunity to go to an NFL draft, absolutely do so. Dustin, next year it's coming to you. So, and I keep saying that I'm not interested in going. Dustin, if I could use your floor, then maybe I'll come. You know what I mean? Because that's the only reason why I would even go up to Green Bay. I'm not paying $1,700 for a room in the middle of April when it's freezing. It's freezing and it's still cold in Green Bay. It's cold here. So it's going to be still cold in Green Bay at the end of April. So
yeah. No, absolutely.
I got to imagine, you know, I mean, not living there, but.
Frankie wants a shout out if the camera.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll be like, hey, the Yankees stink. There's your shout out. Uh-oh, did I go, Simon? There it is.
No,
I didn't freeze, did I?
No, I think that was me.
Good.
I think that was me.
Yeah, because that's what I'll say. I'll be like, the Yankees suck. Ha, Frankie.
Hey, I know that's for me.
Exactly. Hey, Frankie, since you probably are close to this than anybody else that I know of, how much validity to the rumor that the Patriots could trade the number 3 pick for A.J. Brown?
Oh, here you go. We got a Brian hater checking in. There's like RuPaul's Drag Race behind the scenes.
Brian, I know you're jealous. I know you're jealous of my face painting prowess. You know what I mean? I knew he was going to check in today, especially because I'm getting ready for the draft. I was going to be all around. Tomorrow's, I was going to try to be somewhere and start doing interviews and stuff like that. I'm like, this is too long of a day to try to stay like this and be up all day long. So I started a lot later than I normally would have. I'd be down there already doing interviews, but it was like, they'll wait for me. It'll be there. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you. I was going to say, he's just jealous that I look better than him. But yeah, today's going to be a fun day today, and that's what it's really all about. It's it's going to be interesting because if Brian hates the super fan look, everybody's going to have it on the screen.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, because they're all going to be there.
Exactly.
And we got McLovin.
About time he showed up.
I know, right? Jeez Louise, man, these damn appointments. And look at Pat. Look like he's in the bathroom getting ready. I hope he brought the extra Charmin.
He is. He's been getting painted up as we go.
Yeah, I actually did it live today on air because this is the type of content that you can only get from coast to coast right here.
Oh damn! So you literally did the whole face the first hour, or you were putting on your
literally the whole hour. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the beginning of this show. I can't believe I missed that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you missed the makeup tutorial. He's got links to Amazon where he gets his makeup. Down
Bo, when you watched him do his makeup, though, were you pretty impressed at how well he did it? I mean, was it something that was pretty impressive? Or? Yeah,
well, I mean, again, for me, I do similar stuff for Halloween. So, so I am very familiar with the process because I go all out for Halloween. So I'll be painted up. One year I went as a zombie. I actually had like latex skin peeling off my face and stuff. So I mean, so I do similar dumb stuff.
Hey, I don't know if it's dumb. I think it's kind of cool, man. I mean,
it's a ton of fun.
I can't do it. I don't like anything on my face. If there's makeup on my face, I tried doing that one year, and it was horrible. I hated it, but I hated it the whole time.
If you don't like it, just so you know, like a bear attacked your face, and most of it's still on there.
No, hair is okay. Paint is. I don't know. I feel weird with paint on.
I got you.
I tried it one year.
It's the same thing with your beard. Your beard would be the problem. When I have my goatee, and the paint just sucks into the hair, and I go through so much more paint than I do like in a normal sense. So that's where like you'd have to do the hairspray part, and I deliberately don't do my hair on lives because it takes too much. It's too loud. I gotta fix it, dry it, fix it, dry it, spray paint it, dry it, spray paint it, dry it. It becomes a big hassle.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't do that live. It's too much for me to try to. And there's more times that I mess up than I care to admit.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's like if I'm doing it for Halloween, usually all of this gets shaved off. Because yeah, I mean it's too much of a problem unless whatever it is I'm dressing up as requires facial hair, and then I'll grow it to whatever I need. But
it's always interesting to watch him and how he does the lines for on the Philly thing. That's pretty. That's
well, and that's
somebody, but to do it on yourself.
Paint your face and beard. Let's do this.
There we go. Put a big star on your face there, and then paint around it.
All of a sudden, you're looking like Kiss. Get the prosthetic tongue. Do it right.
Oh man! Hey, listen, Pags, you got to do more around the bottom part, underneath the mohawk.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Got to stop somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm not doing a full body paint. You know what I mean?
Brian coming in hot. We got ZZ in the house.
See, I'm not the only one Brian's going after. He's got everybody coming on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, any thoughts? So any chance, is there any chance at all, anybody think at all that Caleb Williams will not go first or not go to Chicago?
No. He might be wearing as much makeup as you, but no, I think he still goes to Chicago.
See, he does things differently than I do. He actually puts on nail polish and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not a nail polish guy.
Yeah, I think, obviously Chicago's going quarterback number one. They're going to trade. So, yeah, it's going to be Caleb Williams at number one. I think they're enamored with the guy.
They just have too much pressure on him not to take him. After fumbling the draft last year, they can't not take him.
But think about this. Think about this in a different way. You are Washington. And Washington comes in and says, hey, listen, we're going to give you our number 1, our number 3, our number 5. Next year, we're going to give you our number 1, our number 4. And then the following year, we're going to give you our number 1 and number 3. So you got.
Well, I mean, of course, if the value is high enough, every position's for sale, right? And any GM that says different is lying, right? Because if somebody comes in and is offering you some sort of ridiculousness for a guy or a pick, yeah, you're going to take that.
I would. Listen, AJ Brown's been great for us. But if if the Patriots offer us the 3rd pick in the draft for him, yeah, bye, AJ. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. No,
and then I would get Marvin Harrison. And then how much do you think that would screw up a draft? That would screw up the draft tremendously.
It would alter the board for sure. No, I mean, it's why I always laugh at all these mock drafts. It's why I don't really do them. Or if I do, it's because I'm going to go on a show specifically about one. But the biggest thing is all it takes is one of those phone calls and everything you've done is out the window, right? And that can get destroyed at pick 2.
No, you're right, though. I mean, you just don't know the way it's going to go or where it's going to unfold.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So here we are. This is the final product. Philly Sports Guy is finished. Like it says, it takes me about an hour. You guys got to spend that whole hour with me, watching me do it. It's, like I said, I'm very meticulous on how this all occurs and stuff like that. So
Brian does not like Jay's mouth. It's funny because he doesn't like the fuzz, and most of us just don't like what's coming out of it. Like,
exactly.
I like that Jay is just catching strays over here.
Well, listen, if you're going to go to a commercial break, since we're at the top of the hour, I want to use that moment wisely.
See, I like this. Your forehead is shiny. This could literally be about anybody on the panel.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Today, mine's more shiny than yours.
I'm smirking at his smirking.
Smirking.
Oh man, this is a fun show today.
This is perfect. This is just what you'd expect from the first day of the NFL draft.
Well, and this is what you want. This is what you want going into the draft, right? Like you want the atmosphere to be light and fun and like, let's go. Like, let's do this thing.
No, not really.
Hey, listen, you wanted to hear light and fun. If this show was at 9:30 this morning, there was some light and fun that was happening outside of our door. Oof. Yeah, it's interesting sometimes to be in the right place at the wrong time.
There is no
doubt. I wasn't involved in any of that, but it was involved.
Yeah, I mean, we got to hear some pretty interesting stuff a couple of years ago. We were in Miami, right on the beach for spring break, and there was some light and fun mixed with some throwing hands.
Yeah, except that there was I won't even go into it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But there was a hey, call 911. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
there was a lot of that going on today.
No, there was like some people doing some work in the hallway, followed by what sounded like someone didn't like the fact that they were doing work in the hallway.
Hey, some of us are sleeping here. Shut the frig up out there.
Exactly. Oh man.
That's what happens sometimes when you're in a different area code.
Go to commercial. Pags needs to pee.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah.
So that being said, we do actually need to go to our commercial break. So good looking out, Frankie, and we will be back in a couple of minutes. Maybe. There we go. No.
This is Reggie Jones, owner and founder of Air Sports Academy. Air is based on the 4 core principles: heart, education, integrity, resiliency. AIR is about developing student athletes physically and mentally through training, mentorship, and effective marketing. We've created a platform and a blueprint for our state to shine in the brightest of lights. I created this program because it was a need for our state. We needed to have the light shine on the student athletes in our region, and now that is happening at an all-time and undeniable rate. We created a lane for the kids in our state to get their college education paid for and set their families up for future success. We created an environment where serious athletes can now come compete fearlessly. We've achieved this through our variety of elite programs. Our 6-month off-season program, where first-year starters or seasoned vets can all come develop. Our 5-on-5 program, which is all about our line. Our youth tackle program, which is the first and only youth tackle team from the state of Washington to ever win a major national championship. Our 7-on-7 program, which is ranked top 10 in the country every year. Our high school 11-on-11 club tackle program, which creates unique and much-needed opportunities for our kids. Our college prep program, which allows our graduates to come back from college and prepare for the upcoming season. Our track and field program, which creates an opportunity for our young air boys and air girls to continue to get faster. When you're a national program, you receive national respect, which is why when you look at recruiting boards and top player lists from around the country, you'll always find players from Air on those lists. Which is why college coaches from some of the most prestigious schools around the country come into our facility to recruit our players. The Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, Stanford, Florida State, the list goes on. Our players are being recruited, offered, and committing to some of the top schools in the nation. The experience our players and families receive is second to none. We offer a competitive brand of sports at Air. We are the ball. And with that comes great responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
All right, welcome back. And of course, Frankie, you were probably right, just the wrong host.
So I finished.
Here we go. What are the betting odds you get a photo with Eminem?
That would be cool. I would take a picture with him.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be
why wouldn't I? That'd be amazing. It's funny because we don't know who is. They have a band play at the end of every draft. The first day. Actually, after every day, and we don't know who it's going to be this year.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see. Might be him.
It could be. I mean, it makes sense.
Well, he's definitely a local guy.
Yep. Absolutely.
But it was funny because Cypress Hill finished off their concert, and they were like, "Hey, everybody, we're gonna finish off with a song that's not ours, but you're gonna get in your feels about it. It's gonna come, it's gonna hit your soul." And I thought that they were going to do a song from Eminem. No, they did Jump Around.
I mean,
which was a little bit of a surprise to me too, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what I said.
I feel like a missed opportunity, but all right.
maybe, but I mean, they own a couple of dispensaries in Detroit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I learned that at that concert too.
I mean, that makes sense.
Again, yes, that was like, oh, okay, maybe that's really the case.
So yeah, if you're looking for a dispensary in the local Detroit area, please go see Pags. He will give you.
Oh, I tell you, you don't have to. If you need a dispensary, you don't have to ask me. You just look up at any of the billboards. They got billboard. They own all of the billboard space. It's either you're going to be figuring out exactly where to go to a dispensary, or where to go to a casino. Those are the two things that they advertise 100% in Detroit on billboards.
Yeah, I believe that.
So Detroit is
Wired
filled with
people.
weird people or wired people? Because both could be true.
Right.
I'm about to say, I think both of those. I think you really did mean wired.
I mean, yeah,
Detroit,
right? Like
Detroit is, Detroit is a great city. I mean, I used to live here a long time ago, and I've come back every time the Eagles have played for the most part in the last 7 years.
Oh, no,
I've got a number of friends here, and it really is a great spot. The fans here are fantastic and very loyal because, let's face it, Detroit Lions fans have not had much fun over the last 20 years.
I mean, really longer.
Yeah. Yeah, that one of the super fans, one of the super fans, his name is Crackman. Now, just because his last name is Crackioa,
Okay.
Cracohia, you know what I mean? But they call him the Crackman because why not? You're in Detroit, why not call him the Crackman?
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Exactly. It's so you get all shapes and sizes around here. As I pack up, we're not going to be able to park anywhere close to the draft, as anybody could imagine. So yeah. I have to bring like all my stuff with me so that if I want to do any touch up, I have the ability.
Do you do like a little fanny pack and you say, "Hold on a minute, let me touch up a little bit"? You just,
No, I don't put it in my fanny pack, and it's not a fanny pack because fanny packs are illegal in the NFL. I have there you go. hand warmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that works.
And that allows me, because it is NFL merch that I buy directly from the NFL, and because it is not, it's open on both sides, it's not go as a fanny pack.
Interesting.
So it's like literally and you have to go by those rules, because if it was closed on one side, nope, it becomes a pouch. So it's I've had some issues at certain stadiums, and then because listen, security people are doing their job. That's what it comes down to. So there's always going to be different security that does things differently. When they call up to the head of security, what happens at that point is they come and they see me and they're like, yeah, he's okay. Because I have a problem. I'll be honest. I have a problem getting into FedEx Field in Washington. Every year they give me a little bit of flack. I'm like, just call your supervisor, please. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he knows me. He knows what's going on. I've done this now for the last 7 or 8 years. Let's make it happen. And they do. Like he's like, okay, perfect. Enough said. And that's the way it's got to be. You know what I mean? They're, like I said, they're doing their jobs the way they need.
You can't hate on them, right? Like they're just doing what they're paid to do. So like I'm never mad at it.
So, but I always, obviously, I'm going to set off a metal detector every time I go in.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah. I mean, the shoulder pads alone.
Yeah. And then they do the full, I got to be like this and full pat down. Let's take everything out of your bag and stuff like that. And
I mean, that's how you start the game off right. You get the reach around before you walk in the stadium. Doesn't matter if you win or lose after that.
That's exactly correct. Thank God I wear my cups.
Oh, well, yeah, got that stored in there, but I guess so.
But listen, guys, I am going to back off right now. I may try to get back on once I get somewhere. So it might be at the end of the show here, because I'm going to try to get there. It takes about 20 minutes, and then I'll see if I can get back on. If not, tomorrow, I'm not going to be wearing the shoulder pads. So I'm going to do my best to get down there and actually give you like a tour of the NFL experience that they have here and things like that. And we could kind of be a part of that, because I went out and I bought some earbuds so that I could actually hear you guys, because the earbuds I had did not work the last time. So it's literally, I'm going to be doing some of this, and it's, so I'm going to try to do and share with everybody all the experience I can, on our show.
Sweet.
Look at him.
Hell yeah.
Look at him. It'd be cute. He's just so cute.
Well,
You're another one who's jealous there. I get it. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're never going to look this handsome.
I won't.
I like that he immediately went to the sad panda. He's like,
yeah. And as we see, there's Minshew.
Oh, there he is, Dirk Diggler.
There we go. Everybody in the house.
Right on. Well, cool.
So, and I tell you, wait till I'm meeting up with Guy Fieri. He's a friend of ours. He looks spitting image like Guy Fieri. He's a spitting image of Guy Fieri. And so if I catch up with him before we're done, I'll throw us back on for a minute.
Hell yeah.
So,
hell yeah.
But anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of the show. I'll try to catch back up. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow.
Right on. Have fun.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Awesome.
I can just see Pat walking around, being Guy Fieri, and you got Dirk Diggler just coming up behind you.
That's got to be a hilarious. That's got to be a hilarious group to see.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. Honestly, I mean, those are some. I'm actually getting inspired for Halloween right now, just watching this. I'm starting to get ideas now.
Yeah, man.
We will see.
That was probably the weirdest thing in Mexico, right? Was the they don't really do Halloween there. Oh, did I freeze? No, there we go. They don't really do Halloween down there. They do Day of the Dead, which is, it's a little bit different. And so I haven't done a real Halloween in like 3 years now. So it's weird. So this one will be a good one because I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm finally back in the States. We're doing this thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially like when you go. I went to England a few times, and they celebrate that. I don't know what they call it, man. Some kind of Kraken thing, or what's that thing called? The one where it's at Christmas time, but it's like the evil version of Santa Claus or whatever.
Krampus.
There you go, fam. There you go.
Yes.
They have those parades, and they got that Krampus character. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I heard that's supposed to be pretty crazy. I heard that is supposed to be.
That would be hilarious. I could get into that. That'd be fun.
Oh my gosh. What a time to be alive. Gee, I could get into a lot of those things. For some reason, you went weird on me, though. Is your video okay over there, or just my video?
No, like everybody's has been kind of bad. Honestly, Tags was freezing up. I've been freezing up. You have a little bit here and there. So
yeah, it's really weird. I was just like, okay. That's interesting.
Yes, I think it's just that there's so much broadcast happening today. It's probably just a problem nationwide because it's not like any of us remotely close together. So it's not a regional thing.
Yeah. It's draft day, baby. Everybody's excited.
Right.
Everybody's communicating. Everybody's having a good time. I'm not having a good time. I expect absolutely nothing for the Cowboys. Zero.
Well, that's the right expectation.
So for me, it's just a day of watching everybody else's teams get better, while my team still is just.
Yeah, no.
Maybe we call that.
Your draft day is going to look very similar to your season. It's just underwhelming.
You know what? It is true. That's why I have resigned myself that I'm just going to write this part of my life out until we get better again, and however long that takes, I don't know. It may take a long time, but we may never get back to where we used to be. I mean, you never know.
You guys are in store for kind of a long year, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, we made bad contracts, and bad contracts follow you for a very long time, and it is a constant reminder of bad contracts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if Steven needs to say, "Dad, let me start handling these contracts. I'm gonna take ownership over this, whatever." Somebody needs to step up. I don't think Jerry has it anymore. And that's just me. That's just my personal opinion on it.
I mean, anymore. Like he hasn't had it for a long time.
I'm not asking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just.
No, he definitely needs someone else handling that. Like, I'm fine with him still being in the room. Like, he gets talent. There's no doubt. But when it comes to re-sign guys and friends, they should probably let someone else do that.
I think that, but I also think picking coaches. I think the Cowboys have not had a good run of picking good coaches to take over once Jimmy Johnson left.
Yeah, that's because
Parcells wasn't really the right guy anymore. Neither was McCarthy really the right guy anymore. I mean, these are guys that had once and dones and then just kind of whatever, and then you had a couple other people you wanted to kind of throw in with Jason Garrett or whatever, and then
Well, it's because Jerry is about Jerry, so he needs the yes man in the building. He doesn't care.
That's exactly what you're right. That's exactly what he needs.
Until he's involved in the day-to-day operations, it'd be more of the same because he craves that attention, and as soon as that's a thing, you take so much power away from your coaching.
Yeah, because I really like that Lovett kid down there in Houston, that offensive coordinator. I would love to give him the opportunity to come up to Dallas and take over and see what you can do with our team. I mean, I like him. I like what he's doing down there. And I like how he brought in C.J. Stroud and, how they've raised him up his first year and just looks amazing. We need a young guy that's innovative, that is up with the times of football and not antiquated, living back in the old school days. We need that new style of coach.
The one that I'm curious about is timing would work, right?
Yeah.
Is because you got McCarthy through the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go after Ben Johnson from the Lions, since he already was trying to be a head coach and then pulled the reins back and decided to go back to the Lions? Timing wise, that could work to grow Ben Johnson as your next head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be open to that. Again, I'm open to any young coach that is part of a winning culture, that knows how to win, has seen how to win. I would love to take an opportunity. And look what the Lions did last year. I mean, they were spectacular, you know. So yeah, I would absolutely give him an opportunity. I would go, like I said, Lovett, Johnson, the guy that went over to Seattle, signed with Seattle, the two guys got McDonald or whatever his name was. You know what I'm talking? Yeah, I thought there was a lot of really good coaches out there, honestly, that have been going through the mixes. I'm still waiting to see what Brian Flores does. I've always liked Brian Flores. I thought he, I thought he has a good assembler of talent, you know.
But instead it's going to be the return of Zimmer. Am I supposed to read between the lines there?
I mean, I can't do what I want to do. Just use your judgment, will you? Man, what a time to be alive. Hey, you're right, though. Unfortunately, that's the sad part about it, is that's really kind of who is over there, is Zimmer. So
exactly. No,
you're not exactly wrong. If it doesn't go, and I don't know what their plan is. I know I guess they're trying to make McCarthy earn this contract extension, whatever.
There's no way he stays, because your team is getting just absolutely after this season.
Yeah.
Because the way the contract with Dak, he's probably not going to be on your team, but you're still going to have a crazy cap hit. And then you got other guys that you're going to have to pay. It just looks like this team's going to get dismantled. And why would you bring McCarthy back?
And that's my point. Why, you're right. Why would you? At this point, it's like, let's go get draft picks and let's try to see if we can rebuild through the draft and through free agency when we can get to free agency and go that direction. But again, it comes with picking the right skipper at the helm. You can rebuild as many times as you want, but if you don't have the right skipper to head that rebuild, and then it all goes back to the damn owner and management. I mean, are they going to hire the right coach? Because like you said earlier, which we all know, they all want yes men. Well, if all you want is a damn yes men, where are we really going to ever go?
Nowhere. You can't win like that. Yeah. I mean, when they were winning, they didn't have that guy either. I mean, if they want to win, maybe they should go back to the formula that won.
Can we go back and talk to Jimmy and bring Jimmy? I mean, it's bad what even Jimmy is saying on the damn sideline of that game, how disappointed he was in the Cowboys. I mean, hearing Jimmy Johnson see how, he basically was embarrassed about the Cowboys. I mean, that hurts. That hits hard, because it's like, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'd be embarrassed too. I understand maybe Jerry only cares about is putting money in his pocket, the merch or whatever. And he feels like he can keep doing that, but some of us actually want a damn productive team.
You should be optimistic about this year, because you guys are all in.
Nobody likes a smart ass, Bo.
That's all I bring to the table. I'm sorry. I don't know.
You're not helping me feel better about myself, Bo.
Oh, man.
I already got a terrible Rockets. I got a terrible Astros. I got a terrible Cowboys. I mean, it's just nothing good right now. It's just all terrible. I will say this: the only bright spot right now for me is the Dallas Stars. Go Stars!
I was going to say the Stars are good. I mean, they're probably going to exit this round, but they're good.
Hey, you never know, man. Hey, listen, we're playing Vegas this round. You never know, man. We might get this one. I hope so. I really do. I like to see the Stars get another championship out of it. I mean, it's been a long time, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So are you watching, you going anywhere to watch this, the draft? Are you at home? What are you doing?
No, I'm going to be right here. I think we're doing a watch along with some of my buddies, and we're just going to Hopefully, hopefully, I mean, I guess that for me, it's going to be a boring draft, but for a lot of the other guys, it'll be like, I think some Giants are in there and the Falcons are some fans of the. So all the other guys are going to have a good time. I'm just going to sit there and do this number.
What do you have in the? Where are you guys? Do you have a first round pick?
24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
24.
That's not terrible because that's usually where the Hawks have been. 22 to 24.
Yeah, I just want an offensive lineman that's in the top 8. Just give me a top 8 offensive lineman to fall at that spot, and I'll be okay. I will take that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. We need offensive linemen.
Oh, for sure, and that should still be there. Like you should.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that would make me happy is if a good at least top 8. I like top 5, but if a top 8 can fall down to us at 24, then that would be spectacular.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm looking for out of the Seahawks is they're at 16. I would bet they trade back, right, and end up in the low 20s, end up with an extra, second or third rounder because of it, and then grab an offensive lineman at that spot in the early 20s. That's kind of what I'm expecting out of the Seahawks.
Yeah. Is that what you want?
I mean, they need interior line help. They've obviously shown that they're content with their quarterback room, right? So it's not like it doesn't look like they're targeting Penix. So because otherwise, why would you give up what you did to go get Sam Howell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it really looks like they're probably not doing anything on the quarterback front, at least there. Maybe they get somebody in the 3rd or 4th round or something. But, if you're not getting that, you don't need a receiver, right? You don't really need a tight end at that level. So at 16, yeah, you probably trade back, get a couple extra picks, and grab either an interior offensive lineman or a defensive tackle, edge rusher type of position, because they will need some of that, especially since all of Seattle's defense is basically 1-year contracts. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I see the biggest need right away. Now, if Penix fell all the way to him, would I rule it out? No, because their offensive coordinator was Penix's offensive coordinator. So, I could see them taking that flyer if he's still around. I just don't know that he'll still be there at 16. I mean, originally when I was looking at the draft, I thought Penix was going to be kind of a late 1st round pick, and then Bo Nix would either be late 1st round, early 2nd. But now there seems to be a real clamoring for quarterbacks. So now I'm thinking all 6 of them are gone, kind of relatively early.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather be in the Seahawks, I think, position than I am in our position because we have a lot of needs. I mean, we don't even have a running back, Bo. We got Vaughn.
Yeah, I hear you might bring Zeke back.
That is incredible. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Rashad Penny's still available.
Good God, man. Oh, Lord. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, again, like I said, I don't expect much. I am kind of curious, to see what my cohorts down there in Houston do. I am curious to see where they go in this draft to continue to add on to what they're already doing over there. I mean, that's a team that's really, in my opinion, could be, top tier this coming up season. I mean, they just added Stephon Diggs over there, those guys. I mean, they got one hell of an offense. I just don't know. Yeah, if I know, maybe I'm looking for just a little bit more on that defensive side of life, maybe around the defensive edge or maybe corner or somewhere in there, just for more defensive pressure on the quarterback. So I'd like to see I'm curious to see where the Texans and how they draft, adding on to that team.
No, I'm with you there. Oh, yeah. You weren't here in the first hour. So what, the NCAA is finally giving Reggie Bush his Heisman back. What's your view on that? Like for me, I think finally the NCAA is doing something worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, they should have taken that from him in the first place. They're doing honestly what baseball should be for Pete Rose, man. Let's make it right.
That's such a different scenario.
And I'm just saying that, like, look, man, whatever wrong you have against them, that person still has earned the right to have that award. Just like Pete Rose has earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame. He really has. I'm not talking about as a coach, but on the player side, he's earned the right to be in there just as much as anybody else. And I think Reggie Bush has earned his right to have that Heisman Trophy, which is why he was awarded it in the first place. They shouldn't have taken it from him in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at all of the Heisman Trophy winners, he was one of the best Heisman Trophy winners. So, I mean,
yeah, absolutely. That's and I don't know, people are going to try to be like right fights, but I believe they should have it. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. I mean, it definitely seems like
good for him to get it back, man. Yeah,
there was a lot of pressure on the NCAA to do it anyway. There were so many people advocating for him to get it that I don't know if it was them wanting to do something right or if it was they're just tired of hearing about it.
Probably a little bit of both. Probably a little bit of both. Sometimes when you got something wrong, but yet your ego won't let you go back because you've already went one way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit of both,
Just doubling down on dumb decisions. No, I got you.
Pretty much, yeah. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it is. It happens all the time, Bo. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. The other things that was funny about college football is Carmani McLean, which was one of the 5-star recruits for Colorado, jumps in the transfer portal and kind of takes some shots at Dion, right? So his basically what he comes out and says is he wants to play for a real program and doesn't want to play for clicks. And, some of it I kind of get, right? Like the not playing for clicks, because Dion is a lot like Jerry in that way, where he commands the cameras constantly. And, so I would imagine if it's as much of a zoo inside the building as it is outside the building, I could see how if you're a 5-star recruit, you might want to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised that Archie Manning hasn't already applied and gone in the portal. I really thought he would when they brought Ewers back and said he named him the starter again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because he's making so money on NIL there that and realistically, we've seen plenty of times where you've had a guy that only really played 1 year and still made it to the NFL, no problem. And since he has the Manning last name, as long as that last year he balls out, and doesn't even have to be amazing, but as long as he, is an upper echelon quarterback, doesn't have to be a Heisman winner by any means, but just kind of a top 10 quarterback, he's a slam dunk for the NFL. So I don't know how much they care.
I mean, that's true. I mean, just on his name recognition, as long as, like you said, as long as he doesn't screw it up, right? And he goes out there and adds on to what the legacies before him have already given, then yeah, he'll be fine. So, yeah, that's the wonderful thing about the transfer portal, though. Just when you think you have a great team, and next year a lot of them leave, and you're like, damn, I ain't got shit.
It's actually one of the things that sucks about the transfer portal in general is you don't even know who you have going into the season, right? Because you have the transfer portal open and then have, the spring games and stuff. And then the transfer portal's open. And then even like into it's like the first week of the season, you can still hit the transfer. So, I mean, the team you have for the spring games may not be the team that you enter the year with. And even if you enter this season, you may still not even have all those guys. So, I mean, it's a very weird atmosphere.
Yeah, it definitely is a weird atmosphere. I would definitely give him that.
I mean, because like if it was the NFL, trade deadline, at least it kind of makes sense,
Right.
right? But I mean, the transfer portal is just it's a bizarre thing. And I mean, far be it from me to say kids shouldn't be able to transfer and give themselves different opportunities. Of course they can, but as a coach, that's got to be brutal to not really know who it is you're going to have on your team.
Well, yeah, because it's no longer who's the best in the living room. Now it's, who can, give you the best opportunity, not only to showcase your talents, but to give you the best chance to get the NIL money, right? So,
yeah. Well, and of course, not just that, but when you're recruiting,
which to me, I mean, there's no more. To me, it's like now it's all pro sports, right? There's no true quote unquote amateur sport anymore. Once the NIL started paying them money, I mean, there's no more amateur football anymore.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, I mean, when you're out recruiting at this point, I imagine the high school kids actually kind of fall short when it comes to recruiting now because as a coach, you're recruiting your own players, right? Because the transfer portal steal guys. You're recruiting from other schools now. And then on the third front, now you're recruiting your high school recruits. So I don't know. It's got to be very strange for head coaching, which is why guys like Saban retired.
Yeah, I still kind of wonder if he retired or if there's more into that, just because of all the stuff that's going on. I'm always big into conspiracy theories.
So you should have been the one painting your head today.
Oh man, you know what? Hey, that would have been fun. I'd love to be there. He's gonna have a lot of fun doing that. He'll have fun today.
Oh yeah, no, I wish I was down there for sure. Being in Detroit for this would have been a blast.
And you see, Chicago says they're going to unveil a $5 billion proposal for a new dome stadium. Interesting.
$5 billion?
$5 billion.
Wow.
I mean, that's something else.
Yeah,
I mean, that tells you right there, man. Hey, I guess that is going to be the opening for the Caleb Williams experiment, huh? I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like there is a huge window for him to fail.
I think it's. You're right. I absolutely think it's huge as well. I totally agree with you on that. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they better get real active in every other part of this draft, getting offensive line.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Better have than me, Bubba. But I mean, but Chicago has so much money and space and picks. I mean, who knows what they could put on that kid if they do it right. Or if they screw it up.
So see, that's the thing. Is that's such a big if, because at the end of the day, it's still the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's not like it's a well-run organization that you're like, okay, here we go. They're going to build a winner. You're just like, it's the Bears. Somehow they're going to mess this up.
I mean, really. I mean, and this draft is really more for the teams that are struggling, because it's so quarterback driven and so offensive line driven. Those are usually players that, teams that, obviously are struggling or they're rebuilding would use, more or less than complementary players. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd put offensive line in that group, because when we watched offensive line play last year, I could say most teams need some line.
Well, that's true.
Because line play was suspect.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying this draft, outside of quarterback, it really doesn't have, and a couple of, wide receivers thrown in, Brock Bowers, whatever. I mean, it really isn't. Yeah. To me, it's not as big of a draft. It's not as flashy of a draft. Other than, once you get outside that quarterback realm,
You got 3 high-end receivers in, Harrison and
Odunzi or I can never say that guy's name right. Is it Odunzi? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then outside of that, now you're looking at a lot of offensive line guys. Brock Bowers is going to fit in there somewhere. So
Yeah.
it's I mean, it should be a good draft. Should be pretty exciting right about 20, and then picking 20 and beyond. Then most of that talent is probably realistically second round talent anyway.
Yeah. I think whoever gets that Brock Bowers kid at the tight end spot is going to have a hidden gem there. That guy, you can line him up the wide receiver, the tight end. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can play that guy that is actually really amazing.
No, I mean, if it wasn't a draft that had so much need at quarterback, he probably would be a top 10 prospect.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even still, he's probably going to get picked up no later than 12 or 13.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm saying. Just because the versatility and the way you can play him, I mean, really makes him dangerous, in a lot of spots.
And the success of tight ends right now, because of the way that the league is being played, the tight end is such a huge part of your passing game that he should have a pretty good career.
No doubt they go and get that guy. That's right. We don't have no money.
I mean, you don't need a ton of money for a first round pick. You need a pick that isn't, last.
I'm just over here wallowing in my misery at number 24.
Oh man. Yeah, I can't imagine you guys try and move up to get anything though. Like you guys are at a spot where you have enough needs that you probably stay where you are and just get best player available.
Yeah. It's like Jerry's just like, oh, now, Jerry, you only have so much money. Put him back, Jerry. Put him back. This is what you're going to get.
Have you guys cleared enough cap space to actually bring in your draft picks yet?
You know what? Honestly, I haven't seen it in so long. The last time I saw it, we were like 6 or 7 million over the cap, and I don't know where they are now at this point, to be honest with you.
I mean, I know they have some time to still work it out, but
they're going to get it worked out. It's just I wonder what is going to be the next block that's going to get kicked out. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder who's getting traded after the draft, right? Because I mean, free agency isn't over. It's just
it's not like interesting who gets traded in the draft. I wouldn't knock out the Cowboys trading in the draft. I still wouldn't discount that.
No, for sure. I mean,
because they still got plenty of moves to make. Like I said, to get the salary cap, and time will tell. So I might be sad going into it. I might be even devastated coming out of it. I might even be an indifferent person and say, you know what, with it all.
No, that's fair. So basically, you're going to start watching pickleball or something. You're like,
but take a pickleball. But apparently that's the new biggest thing now is pickleball. I don't know what's going on with it. I ain't never seen it play before, but apparently it's supposed to be a big thing now in the country.
Well, it's a big thing because it's you don't have to be super athletic to play it, right?
Look, Mark, you've been invested in it, okay? It's got to be something.
No. Like it's gotten a lot of popularity, but it's a less athletic way to play tennis.
Nice.
So
nice. That sounds about right. A less athletic way to play tennis.
I played it as a kid before, right? Like I hadn't played it since then, but I played it as a kid. And I mean, it's whatever.
So what is that like saying? That's like, okay, all the skinny kids go, okay, y'all go play tennis. All the fat kids, y'all go play pickleball.
No,
pick up your racket, dude.
It's kind of that cross between tennis and ping pong, right? Because you're playing.
Oh wow! Oh, that's
right?
interesting.
You're kind of playing with a paddle instead of a racket, right? And so you're like, it's a much slower game comparatively. It requires less space. You don't have to be a real athlete. So as we get older, it's easier to play. You're like, oh yeah, I'm dominating at pickleball because I can't do real sports anymore. Although now we're probably going to
average Joe's gym. You can play pickleball.
Yeah, that's right. We're probably going to get somebody in the comments there. Pickleball's amazing. Screw you guys.
What's this talking about pickleball for?
Right. I mean, the second part is definitely true. Oh man. And of course, if you're watching this morning, if you are in the Seattle area, I will be at the Queen Anne Beer Hall, downtown Seattle, and we'll be doing the draft from there. There's going to be a bunch of the Seagulls there, some former players. There's going to be Seahawks giveaways, stuff like that. So, if you're in the area, be sure to check the place out. And if you do go, be sure to stop by and say hi. We are going to jump in on a couple of shows from there, just to show the crowd and kind of how crazy it is. They were going to have a 40-yard dash and stuff. I mean, it'll probably still be set up, but it's raining here in Seattle. So there's a good chance.
It almost never rains in Seattle.
Yeah, right. In the spring, almost never. It's crazy. So I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of people partaking in the 40-yard dash in the rain. Although if they drink enough, maybe they will. Who knows?
I was just reading here. It says Dusty Baker wins Baseball's Digest Lifetime Achievement Award. I'd give anything to bring him back to the Astros right now. I'd give anything.
I mean, you guys need just people that can play baseball.
Just come back, Dusty. Come back.
I mean, you guys look like you want to try and catch the White Sox.
That's horrible. Willis, man, I know. I don't even recognize this team. I swear, man, I ain't never seen a team just go into some kind of meltdown like this. This is just incredible. It really is. I mean, I don't know how. I know a skipper means a lot to a team, but man, if that really is the case, damn.
Well, no, since my team is in the division with you,
yeah.
I use the same word, just the voice inflection's a little different because it's more of a "ha, this is incredible."
I can see what you mean because I'm like, this is just incredible. I don't know how you start out here and then you come down here. And the only thing that changed was you got a manager. And you let it go of a couple of middle relievers. What the hell?
Well,
damn it.
Your relief pitching, you needed those guys you got rid of.
I know. Trust
because
me.
They're giving
out
Hispanic.
I knew it, man. I was like,
yeah, your relief pitching is bad.
Oh, it's you can say that again. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this, and I don't know how long. I don't know. It's been at least 10 years since I say Astros have struggled with pitching. It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, even in years you guys were bad, your pitching was okay. You just didn't have any bats. But yeah, now.
Yeah, we played the back and forth game forever. Pitching, no hitting, no pitching. So we've done that for a long. And then the last 7 years we really kind of harnessed and brought it all in, and now it's just. I don't know, man. It's like they had a really well-oiled machine, and then they didn't want to pay anybody. I mean, Hector Neris only signed for $9 million. You can't go over $9 million. It's not like the guys asking for 30.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it might be. It's probably just one of those where they're like, we got a couple of rings, we can back down our spending for a while.
And that's it, right? So now I am. As you can see, I'm embracing what's coming my way, which is about another good 10 years of suckiness.
Embracing.
And then we'll make it a murder. I don't know. I just, you just know when something's coming to an end, and I just feel like, it's coming to an end. Okay, now we're going to go through this next era of Houston Astros baseball, and I'm kind of curious to see what that looks like. post Altuve's and stuff. It's going to be interesting, right? So
yeah. I mean, you got a lot of rebuild to worry about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And, again, if I was to go and talk to the Astros management, I'd tell you, take your butt back down there to South America and let's get the next crop of Dominicans and Cubans and wherever other country you want to look into, Colombia, whatever, Venezuela. Let's bring the next crop up. Let's go, Poppy, because I'm ready.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you guys are just honestly, we're going to know more, right? As you get close to the end of the trade deadline, if we see you guys selling parts off, we know you guys have embraced the fact that your run is over.
I agree. Yeah, it's interesting though. Like I see a lot of teams or a lot of the league going over to Japan and Korea and bringing players in from that direction. But
sure,
honestly, this might be maybe Ichiro is really the one, and you could say Ohtani, but Ohtani seems to be it's the injuries that hurt Ohtani. Everything else is great about the guy, but it's interesting, that we do tend to go more towards South America than we are really towards Japan, and I don't know. I don't know what the difference there is. Why we don't go to maybe Japan more so than what we.
I mean, they do more so for like pitchers because we had Suzuki here in Seattle for a while.
Right.
They have Dodgers also picked up Yamamoto. There's been quite a few pitchers. But yeah, I mean, as far as batters, until Ohtani, obviously, Ichiro was the most successful. For sure.
Oh yeah. I think the Dodgers are going to have a buyer for Morrison that Yamamoto though. He doesn't look he has not looked as good as what he was billed to be.
Definitely not what the contract indicates, because the contract sounded like he was going to be a Cy Young challenger this year.
And he has not shown that at all.
No.
That's one of the things that's actually surprised me a little bit on that one. I really expected a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, not that they're playing badly, right? I mean, the Dodgers are still, they're playing well, so it's not like it's been horrible. But the amount of money that they've invested, they better play well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think if they don't play good this year. I believe Dave Roberts is their coach. You got to imagine that this is going to be close to being maybe even a career ender for him in the Dodgers uniform if he can't get this group together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, shoot, we're right here at the top of the hour. So yeah, again, if you're in Seattle, be sure to come out, have some beers with me. Jay, always good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, my brother.
All right. See you tomorrow.